She going right there, eh? It's Denis here from Denis Logie Outdoors. I'm just going to try to do another Back to Eden Garden update. I let my chickens out today. They're out running around getting some free food. Anyhow, I've been doing Back to Eden gardening now for probably 3 years. I think this is probably my 4th year. Really like the results. So yeah, I've tried to do this video quite a few times. Either the wind or my phone died or my memory card got full. So I just redid the whole fence. I had that black deer netting fencing for quite a few years, and it worked great. The only thing is that deer fencing, it started getting old and deteriorating, and the very bottom, I noticed the groundhogs were running through and getting in and all that kind of stuff. So I rolled it up and I bought this, I guess it would be temporary type fencing that they use in garden centers. So now the garden probably runs on average probably 15 feet wide by 50 feet long. That's enclosed. And then outside of that, I do add more space. I'll put more wood chips on. I got some on this end over here, but on that back end over there where the chickens are right now, I'll put some more wood chips, and I'll probably plant my potatoes there this year. So anything that I don't worry about the deer going after, like potatoes, zucchinis, squash, pumpkins, any of that kind of stuff, I usually plant outside the fence. So the deal with the Back to Eden gardening, I use wood chips. There's a bunch of things you can use as long as it's a cover on the garden. So the covering actually stops the weeds from growing. I'll just have to pause this for a sec. Stand by. Okay, there, I'm back. Yeah, I thought my neighbor's coming over with the dog, and I got the chickens outside, so I didn't think that would work out too good. Anyhow, yeah, so the wood chips act as a covering. You can use different mediums. People have used sand, wood chips, grass clippings, anything you can get a hold of, I guess. I have the ability to get wood chips. The tree service companies in my town drop off and dump it in my front yard, and they'll just keep dumping as long as I tell them to keep dumping, and I just take it with a tractor and scoop it all up and use it up as quick as I can, or put it in a big stockpile so they have all kinds of room to come in. If I think of it, I'll swing over and show you that at the end of the video. So wood chips, I think it works great. For example, right here, right now, I'm just showing you. Here's some weeds. The beauty of this, and I'm trying to make sure that I get this in the video at the same time. Of course, that broke off. That's a dandelion. So they're the whole thing pulled right out. Later on in the season, the more the weeds grow, the easier they are to seem to pull out. The ground is still cold. Okay, there, I'm back. Someone else came in the yard. Anyhow, weeds come out a lot easier. It actually, the wood chips actually suppress the growth of weeds. See, they pull out nice and easy. And then I don't know if I mentioned, then you can just throw the weeds on the top of the wood chips. They will not regrow because they'll end up just drying on top of the wood chips because there's nothing for them to stay alive or to germinate or to root or anything like that. So that is another bonus. The only issue that I find is kind of a pain is, here's a row I just did. You actually have to rake the wood chips back so that you can put the seeds in the dirt, and then you cover them up, and then once they start shooting up and sprouting, then you can pull. I usually rake the the wood chips back to help suppress the weeds from growing back, and that helps retain the moisture. These few rows here weren't too bad because there wasn't as much wood chips. Farther back over there, yeah, that's a newer garden, and I put new wood chips there in the fall, just like this old part. I put wood chips last fall also. You can tell there's probably 2 inches of wood chips, and then after that it's dirt, and there's a weed there, dandelion. Well, that pulls right out. That is actually decayed. I'm trying to find a stick here. Decayed wood chips. So what happened, and I put this in, it was like 12 inches deep. So what it does, it starts decaying from the bottom up. So it makes soil, which is good. There's a lot of bugs and good microbes and mycelium and all that kind of stuff, which you would think would be kind of nasty, but it's actually really good for the soil. The worms, the bugs, it kind of helps aerate the soil. The soil's nice and soft. So I used to till my garden. For years, and now from the research, the tilling of the soil is worse for, say there's a worm there, is worse for your soil. There's 3 worms there, because the more you till, more worms, the more you till it kills all the microorganisms and bugs and all the good stuff. See, there's some of that white mycelium, which you would think would be kind of bad at first, but it's actually really good. That's what's in the forest floor. So 3 years ago, this was lawn, and all I did was put wood chips 12 inches deep, or 6 to 12 inches deep, and basically that's all I did. To prove a point, the last 2 to 3 years, to prove a point, to show my dad that I actually did not water this garden at all the whole season. I would water possibly, like at first when I first put some seeds in. I may water these seeds, probably will here in a bit. But after that, once I've watered maybe once or twice and they germinate, sprout up, that is it. I do not water, or I haven't watered again. And I still had really good results. I may this year do some watering if it needs it, to see if it turns out even better. That's just a board that I was using for when I was doing my rows. But to give you an idea, that's how moist it is. And that stays like that all year. So one thing with the wood chips, I don't know if I mentioned it earlier because I've been doing this video, I don't know how many times I've been trying to do this. You do not till the wood chips into your soil. That is really bad. What that'll do is it'll rob all the nitrogen out of your soil to try to break down the wood chips. And if you have anything planted, they won't do really well at all. You'll have to fertilize your plants to get them to come around. The wood chips are only used to be a covering, and then it slowly breaks down over time, and that's what feeds your garden. Anyhow, I don't think there's anything else that I can think of. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pause this for now, and I'm going to head over and show you the pile of wood chips and a couple other gardens I have. Stand by. Okay, here's some other gardens I got. This is actually just kind of like flower gardens, I guess, on the edge of my driveway. Same deal. I put a thick layer of wood chips. It helps suppress the weeds, and over time it just breaks down and helps feed all the plants that I got planted in here. There's only certain things I can plant around here because the deer just chew everything all up. Which kind of sucks. Anyhow, same deal over there. I got wood chips all in the front of those gardens. Now here's the pile of wood chips. Like I said, as long as I keep this place open for them, they'll just keep coming. These wood chips are getting old now. You can tell the ones over there are a little newer or fresher, I guess. And there'd be some heat generated from that stuff. That was late last fall. This stuff here has probably been here a couple of years. It's starting to decay and turn into compost, essentially, so I think it's still okay since I'm just using it as a cover on my garden. Anyhow, that's the deal there. I'll take a swing by and show you another garden I got. Here, stand by. Okay, here's another garden I have. I haven't top dressed this yet this year, but I will. This bank was just grass, and it was just a pain to mow. So I decided I'm just going to cover it in wood chips. After all the good results that I've had with the vegetable garden, I just had some flowers planted in here and whatnot, and I probably will put a few vegetables in here. I think I might plant some zucchini or something on the edge, and then fill it in, and at least I know the deer won't eat that. But here's some weeds that I pulled out the other day. There, grass, more grass, and what that does, it's, as you can tell, it's just dying because it can't live on top of this cover. There's more grass, so it works out great. See, there's a little piece of grass poking through. Just get a good bite on it, pull the whole root out, throw it on top, it's gonna die. There's some more, it's all dying. So I did this last year, and this was all grass. So I put a fair thick amount. So there's a dandelion right there. And you can tell it's really weak because it's not getting the good sunlight. And of course I'm doing this with my left hand. Anyway, got a pretty good chunk of it. So the way I see it, any weeds that do grow, to me, it's just gonna end up feeding this garden for me for the future. So my plan is I'm gonna bring the tractor over and I'm gonna dump some more of that darker wood chips that I have, and I'll just top dress that, put an inch or so of half decent stuff. There's that water garden that I was cleaning out last week. It's actually starting to clean up a little bit. See, my outfall is plugged off there. I'm gonna have to clean that off. A little bit of a waterfall. So what happens is, and there's the other pond down there that it runs into. So once I turn my pump on, the two ponds end up mixing, and when that happens, the bacteria from one pond contaminates the other pond, and it starts getting a little kind of gross for a little bit. Once it starts circulating again, it ends up clearing up. So if you introduce a different water, I guess, or a different body of water with another pond, it ends up contaminating it until a certain amount of time, and then all the bacteria and everything starts growing again, and then it starts working and starts cleaning itself out again. You know, this is another kind of a little garden feature I got. Same deal. The wood chips kind of helps promote the weeds for not growing as much. I'm just going to take a swing down through here. I'm moving by here in a bit. This is on the edge of my property. I got some pine trees all planted here. There's a big rose bush I got planted. Here's a retaining wall that I put in. This is all concrete sidewalks that I had the municipality dump in my yard. I got vines growing on it there now. But yeah, right now all that's kind of walking through here are deer. Kind of really don't come down here much. I got a bunch of little gardens all in this retaining wall, but I haven't been down here and worked on these in years. Probably do. I think I'm gonna, once I get some time, I'll clean up all this stuff, and then put some wood chips in here. And, there is plants and stuff growing in here, but it's just got to be cleaned up. Here's a set of stairs. The vines and everything are just grown all the way through it. There's a big cherry tree I got planted. Bunch of shrubs all planted. There's a Japanese maple right here I got planted. Right behind there, there's a burning bush. Got a bunch of osier dogwood, I guess, the red, and I got yellow ones. And that was something I just kind of planted in there just to let it kind of take over. And actually that's what it did. It just totally took this over, which is fine. So that's the side of my house. Water pond, or that upper garden, water garden. I think I was mentioning the other day. It used to waterfall down through here. I had a set of stairs coming down. I have it bypassed now because that set of waterfalls and ponds coming all the way down there were leaking, and it was just a pain to maintain. And then the other day, that little upper garden pond, I plugged the leak because it was leaking and it was running all through here and had this all soggy and ripped up. So it's starting to dry up there now, which is nice. There's another retaining wall, 3 retaining walls. I used to have another line of pipe coming out, and it would cascade right down into the pond, right where that can is. I think I was saying the other day too, I'm going to take this 4-inch pipe and I'll bury it and then run it down and have it cascade into that pond. I think that's what I'll do. Anyhow, that should be enough for now. Wow, that's right, almost 20 minutes. Anyhow, I'll shut this down. That's it for now. Thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. Like I always say, that's the end there, eh?